All right, hello wine drinking people. We've got one lonely wine tasting on the schedule, but it is one of our once in a lifetime events. That's right, every month. We've got at least one of these on the calendar, and this is a tasting that you, our wine drinking people, would be hard pressed to imitate. It's what I call one of our once in a lifetime tastings. And why do we do these? Because we got the wine, man. We might as well drink it. You never know when your last bottle is going to be, so I always say, always drink the good stuff first. And I'm going to put as many of these once-in-a-lifetime tastings on the calendar as I can get through in my lifetime. I'm not going to leave any great bottle unturned. And like I say, we're making our way through all of them here at the Wine Watch. And this is an incredible collection of older Spanish wines, and really, even though they didn't make noteworthy wines in Spain really until the 80s and 90s, ones that critics started to take notice of and score very high. Now Parker, the Wine Advocate, has rated dozens of wines 100 points from Spain, making it one of the greatest value areas in the wine world, per point. I think if you look at the Spanish wines and just how they're rated, the lowest dollar per point average of any place in the world. I always say you can't drink points, but it's always kind of fun to speculate like that. And, before the 70s and 60s and 50s, really, I'm just crossing my fingers that we got good examples of these wines because, there's no great vintages, just great bottles. And I'll never forget the 1950 Berberana Rioja that we had at our tasting a year ago. It was absolutely spectacular. Everybody showed up to try the El Pisons, the Lermitas, and all the cult wines of today, but it was amazing. The best wine on the table was that Berberana winery no one had heard of. Today, it's the largest exporter in Spain. Back in the 50s, they made serious wines. So we're going back in time here all the way to 1959. Wow, an incredible vintage. 55 years old now, the Aje Fuenmayor Rioja Gran Reserva. That's right, back then they had these Crianza Reserva, Gran Reserva. We still have those categories, but today, it's not so important, A lot of people just make great wines and they put their iconic name on it and they age it for however long they want to in oak and in bottle before they release it. And, most of these wines, they get big scores. They sell them as quick as they can to get their money out of them. But everything on the table here is 1999 or older. And we've got some of the legendary new wines. Clos Erasmus and Lermita are going to be on the table. Wait a minute. How much is this tasting? $225. Holy Jesus, you can't get a bottle of Lermita for under $700, $800 today. This is the best value in any tasting that we will do all year if you look at top level wines. Hey, we're going to serve one of my favorite wines, the El Pison 1994. I'll never forget my visit to our Toddy. We had this wine at the winery and then had it on a wine list in a restaurant in Barcelona, and both times incredible. This is a perfect specimen. All these wines are in absolute perfect shape. The fills on them are almost all the way up into the neck. Even the old bottles. Look at this 1978. Unreal. And like I said, we've got the Torres Gran Corona Black Label, 1990, one of the old iconic wines of Spain, and then a bunch of really neat old stuff. Riojanas, 1978, Torre Albalo Gran Reserva, 85, and then the Lopez de Heredia Tondonia, 1987. I remember last year, every single bottle of wine on the table was spectacular. I kept going back and forth thinking, man, I cannot believe we did not have one dog in the bunch. All of these old wines showed up last year, and we've got this incredible selection again this year for, like I said, a stupid price when you look at all this top-level Spanish stuff from great vintages that will be going down. And hey, we've got a cool little tapas menu to boot that's going with this, of course. Ham on to Serrano, because, hey, you're doing Spanish wine. You got to have the ham on, baby. All right, and then we've got a lot of other great stuff Tony's going to be putting together for that. An incredible evening, a once-in-a-lifetime vintage Spanish tasting. Check it out. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.